Okay, I hope everything is working. I'm gonna get my tablet to watch the stream because I cannot view my monitor right now from where I'm sitting. So, I of course forgot to charge the thing, so I had to get my charger cable. Let's see if the stream is okay. Yeah, okay, so I can see the chat now. Yeah, this one looks better than the 3D Mark thing because there's nothing moving right now. YouTube is complaining though. Like, YouTube is saying, oh, the bitrate is 1/5 of what it should be. And yeah, it doesn't like that. So, does the thingy run? It doesn't. Yeah, I'm testing something new this time. I have this fan over here that I will use to get some fumes away from me when I'm soldering, because there will be a lot of soldering today. Now it's running. Hope it's not too loud. Like, the microphone is very sensitive to any kinds of thingies. So I can't hear the stream. I can just see the chat and see the picture. If the audio is any kind of wonky, just put it in the chat, and I will try to fix it. But there is about 10 to 20 seconds of delay between reality and the stream, so yeah, I will not react right away because of that. The stream is set to normal latency because if I set it to ultra low latency, it buffers sometimes, because yes, my internet is just that bad. So, but let's get into the stream. We can hear, but it should be okay. Okay, yeah. So, actually, if we don't need it, I can just turn that one off. Because I will only need it when I use a lot of hot air. So, yeah. And I'm actually also gonna have to look. Camera's at 80%. So, yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get into the fan noise is pretty minimal. That's nice. Okay, so what we have right here, I've made a short video kind of announcing what it is. This is my GTX 480. It's not really special, apart from that I've messed with it already. But we're gonna mess with it some more. Backstory of this card is I got it in very poor condition from a friend. I also got this together with the HD 7950, which is equally and not really that great of a condition, but this is worse. This is, I mean, you can probably see it. The multi-layer ceramics are missing, these are missing, these are missing, the core looks like a battlefield. There's screws missing everywhere, the solder mask is scraped off right here. Yeah, the card is just not in a very good condition, but it still works. And yeah, so and I'm going to mod it more today. I'm also gonna go over the mods that I already did. Also these, I'm going to remove these because at the time I thought that's a good idea. By now I know it's just a fire hazard. So these are going. The Volt mod is staying. This one lonely cap over there, yeah, I guess I'm gonna keep it. So the main thing planned for today is putting even more capacitors on this thing. These are my new capacitors. So the one that's already on there is a 560 microfarad 7 milliohm ESR capacitor. These are the smaller variant of the new ones I have. These are 820 microfarads 5 milliohm ESR. So these are just better. And then I have some 1000 microfarad 7 milliohm ESR ones. These are slightly bigger and they come with very short legs, which makes them kind of hard to solder onto things. But I have already used them on this 580 over here, which is a very similar PCB, because both of these cards are reference PCBs. And yeah, so I'm going to try to use them in the same way as here. And yeah, you can kind of see what I'm planning to do here, only this time live. And yeah, so I'm also going to do everything with my new tip for the soldering iron. I tested this yesterday with very thick wires. It works great. I haven't tested soldering capacitors with it though. The tip might be a bit too big. We might have to swap it out for the old one. We're gonna see what happens. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just tear the card apart. Because, yeah, gonna take a closer look at it. This is no longer on the reference heatsink, of course. This came with a reference cooler, and that reference cooler had a dead fan. And just generally that reference cooler was about in the same condition as the card itself. I swapped it out for the Accelero Extreme Plus, which is the heatsink right here. Yeah, I did a video on that. I modified the base plate for that cooler to fit. But yeah. Oh, I deleted the thing. I forgot I did that. I thought it's not deleted. I was actually planning to do that on stream. Well, I guess I have deleted it already. We can delete another card. I wanted to do a delete on stream. Well, guess I did this one already. So yeah. And you can see where I've messed with the cooler, because this is the Accelero Plus. This only works on high-end Tesla and Fermi GPUs with the IHS, because this is the only mounting hardware that it has. I could theoretically shave down these, yeah, well, what are these called? Well, where you put the screws in, I could shave these down to use the card without an IHS. But, yeah, I could also just use the normal Accelero Extreme and not use this one, which is why this heatsink was pretty much stuck on the 480. Because, as you can see here, I've drilled some holes into the base plate so the cooler fits on this, because I do want to keep my cooling for VRAM and VRAMs. So, but let's also remove the base plate. I'll get a different screwdriver for this. Oh, the desk is a mess. Also, if I... actually not. Yeah. Oh, you did the holes in the PCB cooling plate. Yeah. Have you tried the Morpheus cooler? I do have a Morpheus, but the problem is the base plate. Well, actually... Yeah, it doesn't fit because this part of the base plate is in the way. I would have to like cut the base plate into 2 halves, and then it would fit, but then I would also lose the cooling for the memory up here. And yeah, so I didn't do that. So let's remove the base plate from this thing. Oh, my surface processor. Just cut the base plate over. Mr. Bullseye is watching. Wow. Yeah, just cut the base plate. Yeah. I have. Yeah, I mean, I've done this to 2 cards already. Like this right here, I cut this base plate. I could try that. Yeah. The thing is just this 480 is like. I've cut the base plate and use faster fans for the VRAM. Like without the... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to do something with the card. It just sat on my... just sat around in the room and never really did anything with it, which is why it's... I've negated the card a lot. Never really cared about it because it was in such a poor condition. It's my only 480. I have a whole bunch of 580s. So I never really cared about it, but I can try a couple things with it. So now I gotta be careful. Are all the screws out? Yes, the screws are all out. The thing with the thermal pads on this, and this is also true of the MSI cards, the thermal pads on these just disintegrate, and I do not have some to replace them, so that doesn't look so bad. Yeah. Madness here, by the way. Yeah. I mean, I've put it in the Linus Tech Tips Discord, which might have violated the rules a bit. Oh man, I'm gonna take another screwdriver for this. So, I'm really surprised so many people are watching. 10 people watching right now, and like I didn't expect that. Streaming on YouTube really is a good idea. Like I just streamed on YouTube because I didn't want to deal with Twitch, and because I already have the channel established a bit, like 80 subscribers. That's not really anything, but yeah. Those thermal pads are so unbelievably sticky. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna screw memory cooling after this, and because the thermal pads just break down, I don't think I'm gonna be able to save every single one of them. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna cut the thing because it's not that difficult. You could just cut it through here, cut through here, then these you could just break them off, and like you have your cooling. You even get cooling for memory. Only thing is, should try to get these 2 screws for the mounting pressure, because yeah, I'm gonna need to preserve these 2. Otherwise the mounting pressure will be very off. So yeah. I'm really surprised that the card actually works. Like, I mean, the only problem the card really had wasn't that fan, but whoever had this before me treated it so poorly. Like I've showed it in the beginning. There are so many multi-layer ceramics missing from the card, and then this was one of my earliest experimenting cards, so of course I destroyed it more. Funny thing though is it never degraded in terms of overclocking. It still does the same and really not impressive 905 core that it did before, even after the cooling upgrade. So yeah, I don't really think the card really cares about what I did to it. But yeah, maybe it's gonna do better after the mods. I'm thinking we could gain something on memory. I'm not really thinking we will gain something on core. If Mr. Bozoid is still watching, he made a video about the 480. It doesn't care about capacitors on core. Still gonna do it just because I like to do cap mods, but I think I'm just gonna confirm his findings that the card just doesn't care. I mean, my 580 scaled a bit, but the thing is with the 580, you see those capacitors over here? The 580 doesn't have them. I'm gonna get the 580. So you see the 580 here? That's just empty. These two SMD polymers, that was me. But the can types, they are just gone. And it's not like there are more caps on the back. It just forgoes these. So me adding all those capacitors to the 580 might have done something. I'm not so sure about this. I don't really think. Yeah, I didn't care much. Yeah. Did I watch that video today? I watch a lot of Bozoid's content just because he's relaxing. So, yeah. So the card is pretty much naked now, and it's kinda sad I deleted it already. Really wanted to do that. We can delete the 580. That one's not deleted yet. So 480 reference PCB, pretty similar to the 580, except you have these holes here, and the 580 actually has some basic current monitoring functionality. Like, it has the circuits, but it doesn't have the power limit. At least it doesn't show in GPU-Z, but there are shunts and was it INA 219s for each of the shunts, which are current monitoring chips, I think. Yeah, I looked up the datasheet. So yeah, that's pretty much the only difference between the 480 and 580. VRAM should be the same. You get the same CLJ 8266. Yeah, that's an 8266 controller. Thing about this one is it works with the Hall of Fame NVVDD tool. So me doing that volt mod was completely redundant. I didn't need to do that. I just didn't know the tool existed when I did that. Which is why the 580 doesn't have a vCore volt mod. You can just use the tool. You can find it on overclock.net, I think. And you can just use the software to control the vCore. Memory does not work with the tool, so you need a volt mod there if you want to do it. And this card is Samsung. I've seen voltage scaling on other Samsung cards, not like the Hynix card. The Hynix card is just awful. Don't give it more voltage, it's gonna refuse to boot. But yeah, the Samsung one, it should pick up. Yeah, it should pick up. I'm gonna have to read the chat. There's a lot going on actually. Hey, look, holes in the PCB before it was cool. Yeah, holes in the PCB for better airflow, I guess. I actually don't know why the 580 did away with this, but yeah, either they didn't do much or just they needed the extra space for that basic current sensing stuff. When you gonna start streaming again? I misread. I think that's for Bozoid, not for me. It detects power virus loads and throttles it. Yeah, same with many Fermis, even 590, EVGA, ELLEET. To that overvolting before, NVIDIA killed it on 590. Nah, screw the chat or you will never finish the card. Yeah, that's probably true. I should get working. So, but first I still wanna look at the PCB a bit more. I really don't know how good the camera quality is. Again, the stream is 500 kilobits because I live in Germany and our internet is trash. So, you have a 6-phase controlled by the CLJ-A266. The MOSFETs, have I forgotten what these are? Like, aren't these 4921 ends and 4945 ends? I'm not so sure. Where's my light? These are on semiconductor, I know that. Wait, what's that? 4941N? Is that? Yeah, that's a 4941N, and the low sides are 4935Ns. Okay. I thought the 35Ns are just on AMD cards. Well, this has 4935Ns for the low side. So yeah, I think the same MOSFETs are used for the VMEM. Just that you get one low side. And these inductors that like to burn out on the 780, 980 and all that PCBs. I actually don't know. Like, I've never heard these burning out on 480s, even though these also have a 384-bit memory bus system. Like, well, the GDDR5 on these is a lot slower than on the later cards, so maybe that makes it pull less power. I really don't know. So yeah, enough about the card. Let's do some work. I'm gonna get the mouse pad out of the way, and I'm gonna get my heat protection mechanism, which is an old case panel, because as you can see, the desk didn't like me soldering right on top of it, and I burnt it several times. So, old case panel, here we go. So, first I'm gonna remove these fire hazards right here. Oh, I actually plastic dipped. I plastic dipped that one. Well, I guess it's cut them off and pray they never touch anything then. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And I could also just cut these off, like... It's not gonna be that bad. Okay. So if my house burns down because I just did this in a quick way, you know what to blame it on. Your camera is making the card into 8-bit. Yeah. Yeah, I know the camera sucks. This is also my, like, the way the camera setup is working is I'm using a smartphone with the IP webcam app that I stream over Wi-Fi to my PC, and the PC is getting that from the Wi-Fi into OBS and streaming it. And this smartphone is not the one that I use usually for my videos. This one is a Nokia 6.1. I usually use a OnePlus 7T Pro. It's just, if I want to look up something, I need my smartphone, and this Nokia one is literally, it just has that one app and nothing else on it. So yeah, and it's also really slow. So, activate the soldering iron. Its sponge is still wet. Get the base plate out of here. Okay, we have solder. Am I gonna use the shitty flux or the nice and expensive flux? I think I'm gonna use the shitty flux because I wanna run out of it. So yeah, let's see if the new tip isn't too big for putting capacitors on this. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do is actually, like I want to pretty much do what I did here on this card. So you have 2 rows of multi-layer ceramic capacitors on here, and I put the big 1000 microfarad ones on the strip that's in line with the SMD polymers, and then there's a second strip that is pretty much destroyed on this card where I put the smaller ones. And well, I did harvest the remains of my dead 470 for parts, including some multi-layer ceramics. I'm debating whether I should hot air these on. I've never done that before. I don't know how it's gonna go. So yeah. I mean, the core's probably not gonna care anyway. So let's not waste time. I'm just gonna put the big ones on, and then then we're gonna move on to memory. Maybe do something on the core, because the core just took a lot of damage. Yeah, so we can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get 6 of these. That was too many. Those are 5. If you wonder what these are, I don't know. Here's the part number for. I got these on lcsc.com. I don't know what the manufacturer of these are. Is like these are 1000 microfarad, 2.5 volts, 7 milliohm ESR. I don't know about the ESL spec. The other ones are Nippon Chemicon, I think. 820 microfarads, 2.5 volts, 5 milliohm ESR. Also from lcsc.com. So, these already come with the legs pre-shortened, which makes things easier and harder. So, I'm just gonna steal. What's the orientation on this? Ground is on the right side. Okay. That's a multi-meter. Let's better double check. Like, NVIDIA better not reverse polarity between generations. Are you ground? Wait. Okay, what's up with the... Is the ground point I'm using just not that great? Give me a measurement. No, you're ground. Yeah, you're ground. And you are V-core. Yeah, 800 milliohms. That's a GF 100. So, same polarity. I do remember I did not short the legs further on the other ones. So, I'm just gonna go. Actually, I think I'm gonna get the camera a bit closer so I can see better. I'm gonna get the light a bit out of the way. Okay. So, let's go on that way. Just gonna look, is the spacing correct? Okay, so let's put some flux on there. Let's check if, wait, put that on there. Pray to the soldering iron gods that the tip is not too big, because it kind of feels like it's gonna be really close. Damn, it is really harder to do things on camera. Oh, come on, just get on there. Stupid cat. Come on. Okay. Get some solder on this thing. I should have used the short side. Yeah. Okay, come on. Oh yeah. The tip is too big. I can't get it in there. So now we gotta wait for the soldering iron to cool down. And then I'm gonna have to swap it. Yeah, so this is the old tip. It looks really bad. I don't know why. Like, yeah, you can see on my finger how it comes off. I don't know what happened to this tip, but it just looks like that. So, I'm not that patient. Just gonna pull this off like that. And where do I put it now where it's so hot? I should have thought of this. Really should have thought of this. Let's just put it over here. And put that on. How's the orientation on this? I feel like I'm destroying the tip with what I'm doing right now. Okay. Old tip is on. So yeah, that's kind of annoying. Now I have to swap tips when I want to do big connections. Like, while we wait for the iron to heat up, because it does take a minute. Yeah, this is what I was doing with the other one. And yes, that's not how you're supposed to do it. I just wanted to test this. So the VRM of this blew up. There was a short from this 6-pin to ground. I don't know where it was. I decided I'm just gonna go around it and e-power it with this. This is the VRM of a GTX 580 Phantom. And in like how it's right now, if you plug cables into this, you get 1.6 volts on VMM and 800 millivolts on vCore. And those 800 millivolts are lower than they should be. That's because, from what I think, is the LLC on this thing is kicking in too aggressively. But that's just my best guess. That's what the red wire does. The red wire is used to, like, basically a resistance between the two pins that the wires touching set the LLC, and I just wanted to short those out to remove the LLC with the wire. That gave me a higher voltage, but once you connect any kind of load, say this card, to the e-power, it shuts down. And yeah, gonna have to work on that. I don't know why it does that. The memory rail on this is actually fully functional. Like, it still powers these 4 chips that I haven't removed. The memory rail on this is perfectly fine. That works, but the core is I don't know. So, iron should be hot by now. Yes, it is. Okay, let's get your friend soldered onto the board. It's really dark right now down there. I could use a second lamp. Okay, once I'm finished with this cap, I'm gonna get a second lamp. Because this is really kinda dark. And I can't really see what I'm doing. I can just kinda stick it in there and hope that it... No, this is not connected. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna need a second lamp. What's chat saying? That ePOW is probably in power saving mode and doesn't have all its phases running. Yeah, that could be. I don't know how to check for that. I just know that before I had the red wire on it, the PWM controller pulled the power good signal low. With the wire, it no longer pulls the power good signal low, but it might pull it low again when I connect a load to it. So I'm gonna get a lamp. Okay, how do I connect the lamp now? That should be better. Might look worse on camera, but in real life it's a lot better. Okay, we need new flux. This is not gonna be the cleanest looking mod ever. I suppose I wouldn't, like, if I wanted it to be super clean, I wouldn't do it on stream. Because here I have people in chat to talk to and also kind of a time limit. You might be able to probe that. PSI pins on the controller. Yeah, PSI pins. I'm gonna have to look at the data sheet. That's an ADP 4100, if you wanna know. Yeah, PSI pin. Yeah, I remember that it has something that's called that. Oh, come on, just get in there. The other side is already on there. Nope. This was so painless on the other card. So... oh, come on. I'm really not making a good first impression, do I? Heat the board. Heat the board. I do have a hot air, but I think I'm gonna need more than 2 hands for that. Yeah, but the heat the board thing is probably a good point because I wasn't touching it a lot. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna... oh, come on. Maybe if I just dump enough heat into the thing. Okay, it's kind of connected on the one side. I really don't want to imagine what it would look like if Louis Rossmann was watching right now. He would probably hiss. Like, the thing is, I didn't really heat the board a lot on the other card, and it went really well there. So I really don't know what the issue is right now. I think my room is probably just a lot colder. Ah, but this seems... nah, it's not fully connected. Okay, I'm gonna put some more flux in there, because it's probably all burnt away by now. And let's just hope that the other caps are not gonna be this hard to do. I might just switch to these smaller ones. Just put it in rice, it'll be beating. Yeah, I know. I know, but as Steve and Jay are saying, that would be too easy. Oh, come on, you are. Yeah, but now you're connected. Like now he's connected. The connection is electrically probably pretty bad, but it's on there. Okay, I tin the caps on the card first. Yeah, that's probably a good point. Iron temp. The iron is set to max and it's rated for a max of 450 degrees. Toaster time? Depends on whether I'm gonna use the hot air station. Okay, last thing. First put flux and fresh solder onto the joint. Let it melt through, then put the cap on. That'll help the solder flow together. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try putting flux solder onto the caps first. The other card might have been less corroded. Yeah. Oxidized cleaner. I've cleaned a lot of cards, but this one, yeah, I've never cleaned this one. I should have done that. The other one was cleaned. That's probably the reason why. Okay, so let's just pre-tin these. It's probably a bit too much. Well, as long as ground is not touching V-core, I don't really care. It's not enough. Okay, let's put some flux for a happy capacitor there. Let's try again. Put the actually with the pre-tin on the caps, I might not actually have to press the legs together. Just gonna hold it in with my hand and hope it's not gonna get too hot. Yeah, I'm standing in my own light. That's okay, one side connected. That's a lot faster than the last one. Should maybe also check if I accidentally shorted V-core to ground. Probably not. There's a lot of distance between the two, but like technically I should check. Yeah, but there's no connection between V-core and ground. These are fine. They are also connected. Okay, this one was a lot better. Okay, so let's just use as much flux as possible. I want to run out of this stuff. This chip quick stuff, it was pretty cheap. I think I paid like €5 for this thing. The thing is, it smells horrible when it burns away. It leaves a brown sticky residue everywhere that, like, literally on another card, I put the card down in water, I took a toothbrush, tried to brush it off, it didn't even budge. The other flux also leaves residue, but that one you can actually remove. Okay, forgot to pre-tin this one. Can Getting ahead of myself here. Well, my excuse for all this is the card is probably not gonna care about core mods anyway. So all this is just a big experiment. Actually, I was thinking of like turning the card into an E-Power. Cause like the core is bad, like 905 megahertz with an accelerometer heatsink on it, and also now deleted. Like, okay, the IHS was on it, but the thermopaste was new, which probably doesn't make that much of a difference, but there's still a custom heatsink on it with the fans going full blast, and the best the card can do is 905 megahertz at... I don't actually know if I BIOS flash this thing to 1.2 volts. So probably, yeah, the 905 megahertz are not with 1.2 volts. I may have BIOS flashed it, but I put the mods on it and then put the card away, which is kind of weird. I think I tested it once, found out that the cooler just can't tame the fury that is a 480. Probably because that cooler is not completely working. Like the accelerator I put on there, the fans on it are really slow. And you can barely make out a difference between 10% and 100%. So that might be why. So yeah, I was thinking of putting this underwater, since I still have that water loop. Thing is just that would interfere with the base plate again. So I decided against it. But I mean, I've run other, like I've run the 460 before the VRAM blew up on the 460. That one never had VRAM cooling. And this one actually did fine. It did run like 2200 on the memory at 1.7 volts. So that was fine. So I think I'm just not gonna care about memory cooling that much. Cut the base plate, keep my VRAM cooling, and then I can put a water block on it. My 470 does 880, 48 degrees, highest reading with the phantom cooler. I mean, I did use a lot much higher voltage than 1088 millivolts though. Oh, it's the SoC. Well, like I trying to say 905 megahertz is not that bad, or like because I've had the impression that it's pretty bad, because like I have two reference 580s and they both do one does 960, the other one does 925 ish, and the one that does 925 ish has a better than 15% AC quality. So yeah, I actually forgot what the AC quality on this is. Probably not good. Yeah, but the thing just was the reason why I was thinking of turning this card into an E-Power is just I only have this one 480. I do have a buttload of 580s. It's pretty okay. I mean, it wasn't out of the box stock. It was 1.15, like the max you can set in MSI Afterburner. With actual stock, I don't know what it did. Like, because I remember that you had a 480 that you wrote it on the back, I think, like 940 core. So yeah, my SoC is a little meh. Yeah, 905 is good on stock for 80 at ambient cooling, so it's actually good. Wow, okay. Because I thought 400 and 500 series are pretty similar in terms of clocks, and all my 500 series cards, like even the worst, pretty much beat this. Like, I mean, The funny thing is the best 500 series cards I have is a 560 Ti 448, like the 448 core variant, which is in a very similar state when it comes to the PCB. And that one does 1050 megahertz on air with a custom heatsink, to be fair, but still on air. But that was also using a lot of voltage. I think 1.25, 1.3. 400 series is basically slow 500 series. Okay. Like I only ever messed with the 460, and that's actually not a full 460, that's a 460 SE. That one has less cores than a normal 460. I do have a 460 Hawk, but I never really did anything with it. I've put some SMD polymers on the back when I got my hot air station. That improved core a bit. But yeah, I mean, I've never really messed with this one, and the other 460... Yeah, what did that do? The other 460 did like a 970 with like also a custom air heatsink and at 1.2 volts. My 470 SoC does 930 on air with custom heatsink, stock 900 at stock volts. Yeah. So are you connected? Okay, this one is connected. Okay, now I'm going for the last one for core. I'm not gonna care about the rest. Maybe after the stream, I might go through the card and do things properly with more time when there's not a stream running. Damn it, man, you're making me wanna plug my 470 in. Really? I need to sleep. What am I doing? I don't know. Like it's 7:30 p.m. You do live in the same time zone as me, if I remember correctly. Like is it that late? Like, do we have to do something tomorrow? But yeah. But if I remember correctly, like I did have a 470 once that died because the previous owner had the great idea to use thermoadhesive for the core instead of thermopaste. So when I pulled off the heatsink, I damaged the BGA so much that the card needed a lot of mounting pressure to even boot. And it did run, but a couple hours later it just died and never came back. So yeah, I tried to turn that one into an e-power. Didn't work. While I was messing with it more, I ripped out a trace at the PWM controller, and at that point the 470 was just gone. But I did get a lot of parts from it. Among other things, SMD aluminum polymers, capacitor, some tantalums, the POS caps that everyone was calling, like I mean actual POS caps, not the SP caps. So I got some of these. I got MOSFETs that I can use if other cards blow up. What did I also get? I also kept the inductors for whatever reason. And then yeah, also kept the drivers for also whatever reason. And yeah, a ton of multilayer ceramics. But one part of the 470 is the heatsink that this had, because the 470 came with that heatsink attached. So yeah, I don't know what Arctic was doing with the Accelero Plus. I don't think their manual says use the thermo epoxy to attach the heatsink to the GPU. I don't think it says that. So all of these are more or less connected. They're kinda crooked, but yeah. So let's just make a sanity check that I didn't just short something. Realistically, if I see a short now, I would be very upset, because that means I gotta waste more time. Just gonna use a cap behind the core. Wait, is that memory? No, I'm just gonna use the cap that I attached to the core. Okay, that connection is very bad. Damn it, can I use a... Gonna stab the inductor then. Yeah, still 800 milliohms. Not shorted. So let's move on to the memory. This one might actually do something, because this is a Samsung card. I've modded the Samsung memory on my 460. It picked up 150 megahertz, I think. It wasn't fully stable, but it was stable enough to finish Firestrike, which is basically all I care about with these cards. So on this one, it's already volt modded. It is set to stock right now, I think. I've been up since yesterday. Oh, yeah. You should probably go to sleep then. So yeah, this already has a volt mod that I verified is working. It should be set to stock now, right now, but there's no extra capacitors on this. And well, it is a two-phase, but I mean, there's a reason why the 3080 and 3090 have their VMEM VRM all over the place, because this memory chip and this memory chip are not gonna get their 1.6 volts. These are probably gonna get like 1.55, 1.57-ish. And Samsung memory, at least the memory from this time, does scale with voltage. So yeah. Too late, already putting Phantom Cooler back on SoC. Okay. Is the stock heatsink that Gigabyte puts on it really that bad? Like, I also have a Phantom Cooler, though I only have 2 fans working on it. Like, it's pretty good. But sadly it needs the IHS if you don't modify it, because on a deleted card the mounting pressure is trash. Probably fixable with some washes. So, am I using more of the big ones? I think I'm gonna use the smaller ones for this, just more of them, because the big ones are kind of hard to use with those short legs. It doesn't fit with the IH. Ah, okay. So like the MSI coolers. If I was making an overclocking focused card on a card that does have an IHS, I would design the cooler to work without the IHS, because I was expecting people to delete it. But yeah, I mean, the Lightning is also guilty of this, which is why actually here's the Lightning on the other accelerator heatsink. This one actually fits without the IHS. So yeah, like this Lightning is dodgy in the way that it needs a lot of mounting pressure to work. And the stock MSI heatsink, even with the IHS, the mounting pressure is not that great, so the card doesn't work. But the accelerator one does have enough mounting pressure, so the card works. That Lightning is also pretty good. Like it did run 1 gigahertz on air briefly, at not that high voltage, like not stock voltage, but also not that high. Okay, so now let's multimeter. Okay, I'm gonna put a cap. I'm gonna use the bigger multi-layer ceramics as hookup points. I think I'm gonna use both of these on this chip, and then maybe put another one here. Or like, on the other card I use these that are more close to the core, but I would rather have them right on top of the memory chip. I just gotta leave a couple of them free if I decide to use the hot air station, or like well, not necessarily use the hot air station for it, but now where I do have a lot of multi-layer ceramics, I could put them on the card, which should help. Like yeah, putting multi-layer ceramics on it should help a lot from what I know. So like that. Which side of your is ground? That looks like VMem. Let's sanity check. Yep, you're ground. Okay, ground is that side. Okay. So it goes like this, and now I gotta trim the legs as short as possible. Okay. Like that. Some flux on it. No pre-tinning right now. Like I want to check if this works, because this one is much easier to access than the big ones on the core. So if this goes well, I'm just gonna skip the pre-tinning step. If this doesn't go well, I'm gonna keep doing the pre-tinning part. Ah, the iron is still cold. Still needs, I'm gonna get the camera up a bit. Like, I'm just soldering ground to ground and positive to VMem, so it's really not that. Okay, now I gotta be careful so I don't bridge to the other cap nearby. Okay. Okay, now again. Let's test if the fume extractor works. It does make a very annoying noise. So is this connected on both? Yeah, it's connected. Okay. This is connected. And this is annoying me already. Turn it back off. Just gonna have to, like, the window's open and it's about 2 meters away from me, so should be fine. So what polarity is the other cap? Is that the same one? Just parallel? Or are you inverted? Let's put the multimeter on the screen. What polarity are you? That looks like VMem. Yeah, come on. You are ground. Okay, same polarity. Okay, so it's gonna be interesting once we move the card over to the bench. Like, I intend to do run it on the test bench, which is sitting right next to me right now. I'm gonna have to move the camera and the microphone, and it's gonna be interesting. Like, I've prepared a pause screen in OBS, so yeah. Okay, cap is there. Let's get some solder. "15 people are watching, wow." I expected more like 3. Phantom mounted. Well, good luck. I mean, you have an SoC card. Even if it's a 470, it probably has like twice the VRAM that this has. So, yeah, this is on there. Okay, I'm gonna try to... Oh, this is gonna be difficult. I think I'm gonna have to have the cap looking this way. I'm gonna do it to the other chip that's far away. And then well, you have bulk capacitance right here. But I'm gonna place another cap here. And then... I'm just gonna make things up as I go. So, check polarity again. You are VMEM, and you are ground. Yeah, so if I'm gonna run the card after I finished modding it. So I'm definitely gonna run it. If not, I'm gonna try to do it on stream. I just don't know if it's gonna work. So, yeah. Oh, I didn't think this through. I'm gonna have to go in there. Well, it's gonna be okay, I guess. Should be okay. Why is my smartphone vibrating all the time? I flashed a XFX 480 into a 580. Some games crash. I mean, that's probably the reason why. Wait, I'm gonna get my smartphone. Someone messaging me. Ah, yes. People are asking me to do a raid in Destiny. Yeah, not right now. So, yeah, so I'm gonna try to run this on stream. If not, I'm gonna run it off stream, but I'm gonna run the card and see what it does, especially the memory. I actually don't quite... it's gonna be interesting because I guess I'm gonna cut the base plate. I'm not gonna cut it today, but I am gonna cut it because I wanna water cool it. I wanna put this on water. And oh, you're not connected. I wanna water cool the card, and for that I will cut the base plate, and that will obviously heat up the memory because I'm gonna take away the base plate part where the memory is. And it might not be happy about that. I don't know how much Samsung GDDR5 cares about temperature. So yeah, I know that the Hynix memory does care about temperature a bit because it was able to run a lot higher at the beginning of a benchmark than it was at the end of a benchmark. For Samsung, I haven't really noticed that behavior, but it might still be affected by changes in temperature. So, yeah. And I mean, GDDR5, I mean, it's memory. Memory doesn't pull that much power, but it's still gonna get hot. Like, I mean, I have seen memory perform worse because of bad cooling. Also, Samsung memory. Like, Oh, interesting. This one has the polarity. Wait, did I just solder on this one? No. Okay, this chip has the polarity reversed. This time, VMem is on this side. Good thing I checked. So, this one is the other way around. Yeah, so where was I? Damn it, I forgot what I was saying. I mean, I was talking about temperature differences on... Yeah, yeah, that was it. Like, I have my two 580s. I have another Lightning, not the one that I showed. I have another Lightning that's fine. And I have a 580 direct CO2. Both have Samsung memory. But the Lightning does have a base plate with memory cooling. The direct CO2 has not. And what I noticed is the direct CO2 significantly just like performs worse than the Lightning for memory overclocking. And it's not just like I got bad memory on it, because when I ran the direct CO2 on chilled water once, and that cooled the chilled water did not only cool the GPU, it also significantly lowered the temperature of the memory. And suddenly the memory started clocking very similar, actually faster than the memory on the Lightning. And yeah, so memory cooling is a factor. I don't know to what extent, but it does care. So, and if you wonder about numbers, so the direct CO2 did 2300 on memory stock. The Lightning did 2550 for the memory stock. When I chilled the direct CO2, it did 2675 on memory. So yeah, the difference is not just a couple megahertz, it's a lot more. Okay, you are connected. So, where to next? This chip or this chip? I mean, I'm gonna go for this chip but this capacitor because this is too close to the screw hole. So I'm gonna go for this cap. Oops. VMem ground. Wonder why that one capacitor has a different polarity than all the other ones. All the other ones I've measured so far were ground to this side, but not that one. Was that a SpongeBob cleaner? What? That one? That's just a sponge. Or like, what did you mean for a cleaner? I put some flux. How's the battery of the camera, by the way? 53%. So that's okay, I guess. Like, we started at 80, so I don't know how long is the stream going by now. I did 2640 for Skydive Firestrike on my 560 Ti SoC Samsung with the bridge mod and 1.72 volts, 2800. Yeah, I remember that post. 1.82 volts for OCL membench. 2670 on yours sounds insane. Well, it was really, really cold. Like we did it in winter. The card actually yeah, the DirectCO2 does not have a volt mod for memory. That one was actually 1.6 volts, but it was really cold. Like I used ice water to chill the loop, and I also had the window open, so my room temperature was at about 10 to 12 degrees. And then the water, like we had like 8 kilograms of ice in the bucket. So yeah, load temps on a the card wasn't delidded back then. Load temperatures were like 25 degrees full load on the 580. And yeah, like everything around the core got cold to the touch, like really cold. And yeah, that's so the memory did 2670. I don't know how stable it was. It was stable enough to finish Firestrike at least. I'm not gonna flash to wait. I think that was no wait. It's a GTX 480 actually. Yeah, 480. I mean, flashing to a 590 wouldn't really do a lot because the 590 is a dual PCB card, a dual GPU card. If you mean flashing this 480 into a 580, again, I wouldn't really know why to do that because this is Fermi. Fermi does not have any kind of boost algorithm. There's no power limit. It's certainly not gonna get more cores from flashing it. So like the only kind of BIOS mod you would do on this is like extending the voltage range, or maybe do OCP disable if it works in BIOS. So really another point in flashing this into a 580, especially because if I would run this for HW bot with a 580 BIOS, I think I would have to put scores for this card into the 580 category, which this is not a 580, this has 480 cores, not 512. So I would just handicap myself. Yeah. P-states, like this card does not have P-states. Or like, well, it has P-states, but like you have manual control. Like it has one clock. You set that clock, it runs that clock. Same with voltage. That's why Fermi is so nice to mess with, because there's no GPU boost algorithm, there's no power limit. It's just you tell the card what to do, and the card just shuts up and does it. So yeah. He means RX 480. Yeah. Yeah, so you were talking to someone else. Okay. I have a tendency to misunderstand people. Like there was this one part where I spelled LN2 pod with D, and even people pointed it out to me that it's spelled with T at the end, and I kept spelling it with D because I didn't notice that there was a difference. That people were actually talking to me about it. Yeah. I tend to do that. I also tend to not get irony. So, am I gonna put another cap on this? Or just... like the two memory chips here are covered. We have one here for this area. We have bulk capacitance from the VRM right here. Thinking of... like maybe here? These are, like on the 580, these were memory. Let's test. I'm just gonna put one on. Okay, are you VMem? Yes, that's VMem. That is VMem, and this side is ground. Yes. Okay. So let's put on this last cap, and then are there more things to do here? I'm not gonna try to cut the base plate on stream because I would have to go into the workshop, which is a separate structure from the house that I'm in right now, and I cannot take my camera there, even though it's a smartphone using Wi-Fi. So yeah, I'm gonna do this after. How did you learn this stuff? A lot of Bullseye videos, and also like I learned how to do volt mods from a forum post from MLLR KLLR, like the feedback mod method. Also just talking to people on Discord, maybe sometimes also watching other videos, but mainly it was Bullseye. He basically inspired me to also butcher graphics cards. By the way, if you're still watching, like, huge thanks, man. Like, your content really made me interested in this stuff, and so far it's been a blast. Even though my soldering still sucks. Yeah, but I learned the stuff just from mainly a lot of YouTube videos. And then, I mean, part of it is also I'm studying something that's hard to translate into English. And part of that was doing a class on electronics. And part of that class about electronics was DC circuits, which is this. We also had a part that was about MOSFETs. So, yeah. And that was kind of where I also learned some stuff. It was very brief though. Like there was not a whole lot. Yeah. Like I think it started with just me wanting to overclock my main system, and then I just started watching out of boredom, or maybe because I was interested, like both maybe. I just started watching more and more YouTube videos, and I progressively watched more and more of Bullseye's content until I came across the video about like how VRMs work and all that, the oscilloscope videos, and yeah. And it made me interested enough so that I began to buy things off eBay. Like the 580 Direct CO2 I was talking about, that was the first card I bought off eBay. Also got a 980 Ti, but I got the 980 Ti for when I visit friends, because my main system is way too heavy to carry. So I take my test bench with that 980 Ti and game on that when I visit friends. But yeah. And then I just started modding one day. Like, what card did I mod first? The first time soldering was on that 560 Ti 448. I actually have it here. So this card, that looks awful. The first mod I ever did was I soldered some wires, like the wires that I cut off here, to the back of the core to measure the voltage from behind the core. And then someday I did a memory volt mod, I did a core volt mod, like I removed all that stuff because it was really, really janky. So I tried to restore the card to stock as much as I could, but you see like capacitors are missing here, the SMD polymers are missing here, because for a time I assumed the card was dead, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna see the capacitors of it. Then I noticed, oh, it's not dead. It just has the same issue as the Lightning I showed. It needs a lot of mounting pressure to work. So yeah, it still works even with the caps missing. It still does over 1 gigahertz on air, even with the caps missing. So yeah. And then, I mean, I'm sitting right in front of what's most of my GPU collection. So here's the 580 Direct CO2, the first card that I ever bought. I never really messed with it. I deleted the card. I BIOS flashed it. But apart from that, I never really hard modded it. So yeah, I might do some hard mods to it. It's just it's an Asus card. This is an ASP0907. There's no datasheet for that. So yeah, I know someone on the internet knows where to hook up volt mods for this, so that's not gonna stop me. It's just like, yeah. That card was pretty nice. Like, I had a lot of fun with it, but yeah, never really did anything with it except BIOS modding it a bit. Can you make a components video what everything is called? I actually recorded one of those, then noticed the audio was crap, so I scrapped it. But yeah, I'm planning to do one where I go like, this is a graphics card PCB. What is all that? What is it called? There's already a video up on the channel that's pretty long. That like goes over identifying components, like finding out what PWM controller you have, what MOSFETs they are. It's kind of old, so it's probably inaccurate. Like older videos are not that great, because I knew a lot less then than I do now, and I still don't know a lot. Like I'm still not an expert. Like the thing is, like I would say that Bullzoid knows a lot more than I do, and even he says that there are other people who know a lot more than him. So I'm not really that high on the modder hierarchy. But yeah, I'm going to make a video that's like going over the like what part on the PCB is what, and like basic descriptions of what it does. I bought a Mobo today. It was a pain trying to find out what power phase it had. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, especially on OEM or older hardware, you just have components that are just like, what? What's that? Yeah. But coming back to the modding part, like, I don't think I need any more caps on the memory. The core, like, the core's probably not gonna care. I'm gonna put the base plate back. Then, yeah. And then I'm gonna set up the test bench. And let's run some Firestrike. So I'm gonna have to... where's that screwdriver? There. Gonna have to center those. Whoever thought it's a good idea to use these thermopads, like... you use them once, and when you take the card apart, you can throw them away. Except when you don't have replacements. Like, I should get some thermopads just to have some. What thermopaste am I using? I'm using MX4. And I also have some Cryonaut, but I'm only using that on like permanent things, like my daily system has Cryonaut in it. But for testing like this, I use this tube of MX4. Like, that's a 45-gram tube. I used a good part of it already. So yeah, that's what I use. So actually I'm gonna take some things, not the wet thing. What else do I have? I'm just gonna take that screwdriver to put the card up a bit so it doesn't rest on the capacitors. And now I'm just gonna put the thermopads on the card so I know they're aligned properly. And I think before I put the card into the test bench, I'm also gonna show a delete. Because like when you're dealing with Thermi cards, and one reason why I'm doing this live stream is someone on Linus Tech Tips Discord got a 570 reference PCB, which is very similar to this, except you have 4 phases and not 6. And part of the reason why I do this live stream is to show that person what you can kind of do with the PCB. And I mean, if you're dealing with Thermi, you're gonna delete the card. And I think, yeah, I really I didn't remember that I deleted this one, so I'm gonna delete another card to show how I do it. Yeah, that's, yeah. I know you're watching. I'm still really surprised how many people are watching. Like 15 people watching the stream. It's like, I mean, yeah, I put it into the LTT Discord, but like Madness does that too. And I don't remember. Did ever 15 people watch your stream? Don't know. Could be wrong. Could be totally that more people watch your stream. I just don't remember the numbers. I mean, I don't remember Bullseye dropping into the stream. That was really surprising. I actually thought like, yeah, wouldn't it be funny if Bullseye watched the stream, as if that would happen, and then it happened. Okay, come on, thermopad. Oh man, I don't feel good. Yeah. I don't feel good reusing these thermopads, especially not this one with so many holes in it. But okay, I mean that's the VMem rail. That's not gonna be that hot. The VMem rail is probably fine without any thermopads, considering that the EVGA classified cards don't have any cooling on their memory VRAM. To be fair, they have a 3-phase, not a 2-phase, but like, yeah. These VRAMs push very high. Like these VRAMs are used on liquid nitrogen with very high voltages and therefore currents, and yeah. Okay, actually the other thermopads are so in place that I don't think I'm gonna have to move them. So let's put the base plate back on the card. Okay. Now I have to find the screws. There are the screws. Okay, let's start with this one. Ah. I hope this doesn't blow up when I turn it on. I mean, this is the first time I do something live on stream. I mean, I've recorded modding sessions before, but I was always able to just edit parts that I don't like people seeing. Here, that's not the case. And yeah, I mean, you can probably see that from the when I started modding the thing, how much I messed up, because that actually, I mean, I messed up while modding, but like, considering I did basically the exact same mod before with no issues whatsoever, it's like, yeah. Is that screw? Okay, I'm not gonna put the screw in further before I destroy it. These two were missing from the start, I know that. And now I have 3 more screws, but 4 holes around the core. So one of them is not getting the screw. So I'm just gonna leave this one here where there's no memory, because I want proper pressure on the memory. Okay. We have the base plate. Now, let's see about the thermal paste. I mean, the thermal paste that's on there looks good still. So, no, actually this dried up. Yeah, I'm gonna replace it. Great, I'm resting my tablet on the toilet paper that I now need to clean this. Let's see. Okay. I'm not gonna clean this fully, like I'm gonna put new thermal paste on anyways. Let's also remove the thermal paste from the heatsink. Okay. New thermal paste. Now we have the moment. Aha! That's way too much thermal paste. And the other half is going, ah, that's way too little thermal paste. Honestly, that's probably too much, from what I would say. It's gonna squish out the sides, which it's not conductive. I really don't care. Actually, this looks fine from how much it is. And I really do like spreading out the thermal paste when I deal with bare dies. If I have a CPU with like a heat spreader on it, like, okay, something. There's a particle in the thing. If I deal with a CPU that has like a heat spreader or something, yeah, you can just put a dot of thermal paste on there and then forget about it. But when you have a GPU or like any kind of bare die, I like to pre-spread the thermal paste, because you do not want to end up with like one corner of it not being covered. Because like that corner is gonna get really, really hot. And if you're unlucky, the card is gonna die. Us both saw it, it happened to him. Like with the, was it the RX 480 GTR? Where he had the thermal paste not spread correctly? Which then, might have been something else, like GTR might have been like a dead memory controller or like overheating. Don't really know. I think he talked about this. So I'm gonna hope the IHS is still touch the thermal paste, great. I hope the IHS is still oriented correctly. I'm gonna go for it. I'm just risking all the time I just put into this mod dying. Well, the card is not gonna immediately die, we're just gonna notice very bad thermals if the IHS is not on it correctly. Ooh. Yeah. That screw just pushed that cap a bit. It's still on there though. So now let's screw it down completely. Oh, there's a lot of extra headroom left in those screws. Is the HS down correctly? I have a feeling that we missed the IHS maybe, because like these two screws on the bottom feel like they're... Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do the stupid thing and take the heatsink back off, because this feels... And I also forgot this, so I'm gonna have to remove it anyway. I feel like the IHS is misaligned and we're doing very, very bad things. Yeah, 470 SoC just does not do 900. Higher volts make it crash faster due to heat. Typical Fermi 1.0. Yeah, I mean... how much voltage are you pulling through it? Because... like my 460 is fine at 1.2 volts. The Hawk, I actually don't know. Oh yeah, we did not have contact at all. Well, yeah, like I never really messed with the Hawk or this card, but the 460 SE was like fine with 1.2 volts. But if you're going above 1.2 volts, then yeah, it probably, like, because I saw this for my 580s too, the direct CO2 and the non-good lightning, they like to crash at 1.2 volts if you leave them there for too long, like if you let them heat up. Good thing you checked, yeah. I mean, we would have noticed once MSR Afterburner was running. So, you go back on there. Align correctly. Why is it wobbling? Why are you... Is that just from the thermal paste? Because like it looks like it's oriented correctly. I just touched the thermal paste again. Yeah, this looks like it is oriented correctly. There's a... Huh. I mean, if it still not works, I'm just gonna remove the base plate and run it without it. The VRM's not gonna be happy about that, but what choice do I have at this point? I'm just gonna blast a lot of airflow at it and hope it's gonna be okay. Okay, the thermal paste tube does not want to open. Oop, an extra blob. And that should be it. Connect the fan cable this time. I'm gonna put it on this way and then screw it down from the other. This is really janky. Okay. Don't you come off. There is a way to disable VRM OCP on 560 Ti 448. Mine just crashes. Yeah, I know that there's a way to disable OCP on the one that I have too. EVGA 550 watt PSU prop not. I mean, are you using that power supply for the graphics card only, or like for the entire system that it's in? Because like, I think, yeah, like Madness pushed a 570 like the Phantom, didn't you push that thing to like almost 500 watts? Because at that point, okay, 1.21 volts set. 1067 behind core. Wow, does it have that much voltage drop? Wow, that's the voltage. Not really pushing it much. Yeah, that's not a lot. That's really not a lot. Well, yeah, looks like bad luck to me, or maybe the card is dodgy in other ways. Like, to be fair, this one is also very dodgy. And I think I BIOS modded it to 1.2 volts. And, I mean, doesn't really matter because it has a CLJ8266. So, Hall of Fame tool works. Oh, it has a lot of oomph left again. Huh. Well, I'm gonna turn it on. I have a CNC machine. Do you live in Toronto? No, I live in Germany. Yeah, so it feels like the edge is not contacting correctly again. I'm gonna turn this on. Look how hot the core is. If it's way too hot, I'm gonna turn it off and just remove the base plate and use a different cooler on this, which I'm gonna have to look for one. No, actually, what I'm gonna do is I have the heatsink for the other 580 right here, and like these are compatible, right? Actually, that screw hole doesn't exist on this, but the other, that screw hole also doesn't exist on the 480. Oh, there are a lot of screw holes that do not exist on the 480. Well, maybe this is not gonna work then. Gonna check. It just feels like the core is not having proper contact again, because like, yeah, if I screw it down further, it's gonna flex like a banana. Well, HD 7990 dual GPU Crossfire on stock with 550 watt. I mean, stock, they're probably pretty efficient. Like my HD 7950 stock, like it's a pre-boost, so it has like a 700 megahertz core clock. That thing consumes like 60 watts under load, stock. So I'm gonna put this into the test bench. I'm gonna have to swap the mic around. I'm gonna have to swap the camera around. So I'm gonna put the stream on really right back mode until I do that. So yeah, be back in a couple minutes. So, should be back. You now have a view of the test bench. I'm gonna have to pull the camera around again when we get to booting the card, but yeah. So let's put the card in. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna put it on into the gonna put it in the main 16X slot, but it might not boot actually, at least the 580s. I have some 580s that don't wanna boot in the upper 16X slot, so I need to run them off the chipset. But yeah, I don't remember what this card prefers, and for cooling it would be better to have it in the 16X slot. So I'm gonna try the 16X first, and if we don't get a boot, or maybe it will blow up, I don't know. The power supply in here is pretty fast when it comes to overcurrent protection. It saved several cards already. So yeah, power is on. So will you blow up? No, you run. Okay, postcode. Oh, you can even see the postcode on stream. Nice. B298. We do have a picture. And I just turned it off without thinking that I'm gonna have to boot it. I'm gonna pull the camera around once we boot it. Like, I'm gonna check the temperature and if it's like too hot or something. Yeah, we know that the card is messed up. Oh no, it doesn't have drivers. There are no drivers. Oh. Oh. If that cooler does not have contact right now, yeah, you know what? Not willing to take that risk right now. I did use a riser for these. I did have 2 risers. Both of them died. And they make the thing where they don't want to boot in the 16X slot worse for the cards that are affected. This one does work, actually. Yeah. But the thing is, I forgot to boot the card in the test bench before the stream, so it does not have drivers. And if the cooler does not have proper contact right now, and the card is running and running and running, and we wait on the drivers to install, this core is gonna burn itself out. So I'm not willing to take that risk right now. Which means yeah, I'm gonna take the card apart again, put a different heatsink on it. Actually, I'm just gonna put the phantom heatsink on it, because that will also have decent airflow in the VRAM section, even if we don't have the base plate. So yeah, so back to the disk. So, back on the desk, I'm gonna turn the tablet on again to monitor. Touch the back of the core. You know, I don't trust the heat of the core to go through the PCB fast enough. I just don't trust. Like, if one corner not being covered by thermal paste is enough to kill the core with heat, I don't think that the heat will travel through the core, into the substrate, through the BGA, into the PCB, to the back of the PCB fast enough for me to notice that. I mean, we're gonna see it right now. We're gonna see right now if I just wasted a bunch of time. But I'm gonna run the phantom heatsink on this. Alright, actually the phantom. Okay, maybe not the phantom. Maybe not the phantom. Because, like, yeah, that needs the IHS, and the IHS is our problem. So, am I gonna disassemble the lightning and get the heatsink off of that? I could. Are you with their power? I think you mean their Bauer. I mean, it's true that he's German too. I'm not, though. But he is very close near. Okay, the IHS is sticking to the core. That doesn't usually happen. Usually the tension here is stronger than... It feels like we just don't have proper contact to the IHS. Okay, that's really weird. Like, I'm just gonna put the phantom on. Does this work, actually? I don't know. The phantom might actually work with the base plate on this. Wait. So here we have the phantom heatsink. So does this work? Oh, yeah, we are in business. Oh wait, no, we aren't. No, we're not. We are very much not in business. The base plate blocks it. It heats up in seconds. You'll try it. You feel it. Try it. I mean, okay, I'm gonna trust you. Coming back to the "Are you with their Bauer?" which I think, like, you wrote their power, but I think you mean their Bauer. I mean, I never met him personally. He is less than 20 kilometers away, but, like, he is, yeah. I mean, when you watch the video where he cut the 9900K in half, that's at the university that I study, like where I do my studies. That's TU Berlin. That's where I do my studies. So it's very close by, actually. But no, never met him personally. Would be really nice, though. Like, yeah. Okay, I mean, putting the thing back on, like, we just wasted a lot of time. I mean, that the IHS is sticking to the core is like a good sign, I think. Wait. Are these lined up? Come on, I can't see. Now it's lined up. Can I actually use this? I think I can use this bracket. That would be nice. I really like this bracket. Oh. Like the screws kind of look like they... no. They're not. The screws have a different winding. Actually, I'm gonna use the bigger screwdriver for this. I'm gonna trust madness here. Yeah, that's what I noticed. You have to cut the, you have to make a cutout in the base plate. Not that hard to do. I could do that, but nah. If I modify the base plate again, I'm just gonna make it so I can use water cooling. Okay. I'm gonna trust that this is working. Okay. It's not wiggling, so put it back in. Another transition. Okay, second try. Oh, I do see the picture that Madness posted in the Linus Tech Tips Discord. Yeah, I mean, that would be the next step, using it without the IHS. Yeah, that would be interesting. Thing is just, if I would make that cutout, I would want it to be compatible with water cooling, and it's not at all. Like, I'm just gonna have to remove everything. Okay, let's put this back in. Connect display. How late is it, by the way? I've been at this for 2 hours. Wow. I mean, kind of feels like longer than 2 hours, honestly. Like, I feel like it's been 3 hours already. I mean, 2 hours is a decent time to waste. Okay, we know it's not gonna blow up, but yeah. postcode B298. We have picture. Okay, I'm gonna try a speed run and put the card on the screen. Okay, we have a problem. This was the camera arm. It just broke. And the card also has a problem because it's at 64 degrees in idle. So, yeah. This is, I mean, this thing breaking is bad, because it like, if I put the smartphone in, it's just gonna fall down. Yeah, so I guess this is sadly it for the stream, because I would waste even more time trying to tear the card apart again and put a cooler on it again, and then comes to that I would have to hold the camera in my hand now. So yeah, so I'm gonna end the stream here because I've kind of reached a roadblock. I'm gonna deal with this mess. I'm not gonna do more to the 480. I'm gonna try to get another stream running soon where I bench the card. I'm gonna fix the heatsink off screen though. Once the heatsink is fixed, I'm gonna put it away and I'm gonna do a stream again with the card, overclocking it and doing that sort of stuff. But yeah, I would say this stream is done for now. So, so just gonna say thank you all for watching. So many people watching, like, whoa, 17 likes. That's pretty impressive. 14 people watching still. Like, for the first stream, for such a crappy, like, a lot of things went wrong, especially now. But yeah, I mean, thank you all so much for watching. Like, even yeah, Bullseye dropped by, which was kind of unexpected. Like, I don't think he's still watching, but like, I mean, yeah, gonna thank him a lot because he's the reason why I'm doing this. Mainly the reason why I'm doing this. Give his channel a watch if you haven't already. He really deserves more subs. And yeah, so thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this mess. This is really a mess. But apparently you're enjoying this. So until next time.